Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you're welcome. Thank you for watching my videos. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much too for watching my videos. You're welcome. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to properly attach your lining to your peplon flay, to your 360-degree flay. I'm going to show you how to properly use your lining to turn your flay. So if it's something you're interested in, please keep on watching and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is to fold my fabric into two, then I'll fold it this way again into four. So I'm going to fold it into four places. Firstly, I'll fold it into two, then I'll fold it this way. You can see the way I did it. So I'm going to be dividing my waist measurement into four. So the waist I'm working with is 30 inches, and when I divide it by 4 is 7.5. Then I'll add 1 inch, which is 8.5. So I'll use it to form a curve at the edge of my folded fabric this way. You can see the way I placed it. Then at the end, I'll make sure I have 8.5 at the end. Then I'll mark where it stopped, and then I'll use it to start forming my round flay. So when I mark what I have at the point where my 8.5 inches stopped, I'll use it to mark all the way round from one edge of my folded fabric to the other end. So I have 5.5 inches, so I'll use it to mark all the way around from one edge of the fabric to the other side. You can see the way I'm doing it, okay? So when I'm done with that, I'll connect all the lines together like so. You can see the way I did it. So when I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to measure is the length of my flay. So the length of my flay is 9 inches. So I'm going to start from the point where I marked the 5.5 inches. From the point where I made the first measurement, that is where I'm going to start to measure the length of my flay. So I'll start from there all the way round to the other end, also the same way I marked it earlier. So I'm going to measure it all the way to the other end. So after I'm done with the measurement, I'll go ahead and connect it to make sure they are all joined together. So after that, I'll then cut it out. So the first place I'll be cutting out is the first part that I measured earlier, which is the part that is going to be attached to the waist of your dress, whatever you're making with it. Then I'll go ahead and mark out the part that I use to measure the full length, which is the main flay. Okay, so I'm done cutting it out, and that is all for the cutting part of the flay. So I've also gone ahead to cut out my lining. To cut out your lining, you have to use the flay that you cut out to place on your lining and cut out the same shape that you have, and whatever interfacing you are using, whether on peplon stay to make it stiff, you are also going to cut it the same way you cut out your lining. Okay, so the next I'm going to do is to place my lining on the right side of my fabric, and then I'll go ahead and sew at the down part of my flay. I'll sew it all the way around. So I'm done stitching on the down part of my flay, and this is what I have. So I'll go ahead now and turn it to the right side and open it up. So I'm turning my lining to the wrong side now. I'm turning it into the flay, and then this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'll go ahead now and top stitch on the lining. I'll push my stitches, the part that I sewed on, I'm going to push it to the lining part this way. You can see the way I placed it. Then I'll go ahead and stitch on the lining. Please stitch on the lining from one edge all the way round to the other end of your flay. So I've gone ahead to do the stitches, and this is what I have. I've stitched on the lining. So I pushed my sewing, the part half inch I used to turn my lining to the lining part, and I stitched on the lining so that I will hold it down. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to hold the sides like this, and then I'll stitch on it this way. So I'm done stitching it. I also did the same thing on the other side, and then I gave it a good press. You can see how it's looking, very smooth. So go ahead and iron it out. So after ironing it out, the next thing I'm going to do is to top stitch the lining and the fabric together. So you're going to be top stitching on the fabric to hold it together with the lining. So guys, this is it. I'm done with it, and that is all for your flay, for turning your flay with your lining. That is all. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. So if you find it helpful, please go ahead and subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Okay, thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.